I will be moderating today's webinar titled Microsoft Excel Dashboard by Elingeswaran. Elingeswaran is a planning and capital allocation executive in Group Finance of Tenaga Nasional Berhad (TNB) with close to 3 years of working experience. He has assisted and empowered fresh graduates, especially from accounting, finance, and economics background, through the sharing of contents pertaining to basic work ethics and procedures in LinkedIn and free webinars for the aspiring young talents. If you have any questions, please type them into the chat box in your Zoom control panel. I'll bring them up during the Q&A session at the end of this webinar. To all UTA students and staff, kindly sign in your attendance in the link posted in the chat box. Now, without further delay, let us turn the time over to Mr. Elingeswaran.
Okay, let's get started. Okay, so hello and a very good day, everyone. Good morning. And of course, I would like to say thank you very much to Kingsley and also the committee members of UTA for organizing this event on a Saturday morning. And of course, last but not least, thank you everyone for attending this session. I know today is a Saturday morning, you can actually wake up late. Even you can actually go to the nearest shopping mall to watch Black Adam. But instead of watching Black Adam, you choose to sacrifice your 10 a.m. with me. So for that, thank you very much. All right. Okay, so for today's session, what I'm going to teach is Microsoft Excel dashboard. Okay, so before I go to the Excel part, let me show you the PowerPoint slides so that you can feel what is dashboard. All right. Okay, so before I speak about the dashboard, I just need to introduce myself. Okay, my name is Alan. Of course, I do have a very long name, but you don't have to call my long name. You can just call me Alan. And I have about, if 2022 finish means, I will have about 4 years of experience. Currently, I'm working in Tenaga Nasional Berhad and has been articulated by Kingsley earlier. I'm working in as a planning and capital allocation executive. So with my current job, I've actually prepared roughly about 5 dashboards, which I've presented to the CFO and several HODs, and I've conducted about 80 webinars. Okay, so this is my 80th webinar and also my 5th collaboration with UTA. So it's a big success story for me. Okay, so now back to the topic. Okay, so for today's agenda, all right, today's agenda, what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you on Microsoft Excel dashboard. So I'll start with the introduction, I will start with the advantages, and I'll show you what is a sample Excel dashboard. Okay, and then after that, eventually we will do some exercises. Okay, we'll do about 8 exercises and we'll do one case study. Okay, we hope we have sufficient time. We'll do one case study. All right, so if you are with me, maybe please type number 3. Okay, some of you are typing number 3. It's good. Okay, I'll try to go slowly because I believe I'm speaking too fast, but I'll try to go slowly. Okay, so what is dashboard? Apa tu maksud dashboard kan? Okay, so dashboard, if you have a pen and paper, you can jot it down. If you want to screenshot also can. And of course, this is recorded, so you can actually watch later as well. If you not familiar with certain terms that I speak, so you can actually watch later as well. So what is dashboard? Dashboard means it's a presentation. Okay, the presentation is actually a report in the form of data visualization. So if you want to understand what well in your ClickSense, in your Power BI, it can be in Tableau. But for today's session, I'm teaching you via Microsoft Excel. So basically, when it comes to dashboard, it can be prepared and presented in Microsoft Excel. Okay. All right. So on the left-hand side, as you can see on the left-hand side, that is actually they call as the dashboard. Okay, it has the overview, it has the year-on-year performance, it has the breakdown. Okay, so what is the advantages or what is the benefits of dashboard? Number one, it creates a summary. For example, when you send a data to the CFO or to the HODs, you don't send every file. You will send the important data. So it creates a summary, and of course, it creates an analysis. Okay, analysis means for you to understand how is the data, year-on-year performance, which is the highest, which is the lowest. Of course, you have data accuracy, and not to forget presentation for decision making. Normally, when it comes to project finance or corporate finance or any budget, it requires decision making. So when there's a dashboard, it can enhance the decision making process for the stakeholders. Okay, okay, this is more to theory part. Okay, all right. So basically, today we will learn how to construct a dashboard in Microsoft Excel. Okay. All right. So this is a sample dashboard. We do have a title, we do have a selection, and we do have the charts here. All right. So if you can see the sample dashboard, maybe you can type number 4. All right. So this is a sample dashboard. Okay. So now we just see the surface level only. All right. So in today's session, what you need to have is, as long you have Excel 2016, or if you have Excel 365, it will be better for you. Okay. Even if you have Excel 2007, okay, Microsoft 2007, so it's okay. Okay. As long you have an Excel file in your laptop, then it is sufficient for today's session to learn Microsoft Excel. Okay. All right. All right. So the last slide of today's presentation, then we'll go to the exercises. So today we will learn 9 examples. That means 8 exercises and 1 case study. Okay. We will also cover on VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, DGET formula, pivot table, and also Power Query. Okay. So if you want to jot down, you can jot this down. You want to screenshot also can. You can screenshot. Okay. So there are many features that will be learning today. Okay. Power Query, you can actually put a bracket. Power Query is an advanced version of Microsoft Excel. Okay, so there are many things we are learning. So let's get started. All right. So before I proceed, okay, can you see my screen? So if you can see my Excel file, maybe you can just type number 5. If you can see my Excel file. Okay, I see you are typing. That's good. Okay, so now, like what I just want to recap again. Maybe just now I speak in the I shared the PowerPoint slides. Maybe I speak too fast, so maybe some of you didn't catch, right? Okay, so what is Excel dashboard? If you can see the word here, it is a presentation. Okay, what's the purpose? To summarize, to analyze, and to do presentations. Okay, who will use Excel dashboard? Consultants, Accenture, KPMG. Okay, even IBM also, they do provide consulting and they create a dashboard as well. Okay, investment banks, project and corporate finance. Okay, what you need to build a Excel dashboard? You need an Excel. If you have an Excel file, it's okay. Pivot table, Power Query, developer tab. Okay, all these things I'll teach you. You don't worry. Okay, and then what's the process? As usual, input, process, output. Okay, so you can actually screenshot this. You don't have to jot down, but you just have to screenshot this. Okay, all right. So now let's go to exercise number 1. Okay, so can you see exercise number 1? If you can see exercise number 1, please type number 6. Okay, if you can see exercise number 1, please type number 6. That's good. Okay, so now if you see here, we do have on the right hand side the notes. Okay, this note is for you to jot down, or you can actually screenshot. It's up to you. You want to jot down also can, you can screenshot also can. Okay, all right. So the first step is we are going to have data over here. Okay, so this data is what happened is we do have a story. Okay, so now the scenario is when there is no COVID, the performance will be best case and the production will be 85%. But when there is a current situation where there's a normal case, that means, okay, sometimes we work from home, sometimes we work in office, sometimes we do online learning. Okay, so in this case, it's a normal case. So when there's a normal case, the productivity will only be 50%. Okay, so now if there's another scenario called COVID-19. Okay, if you notice, like yesterday, there's about 4,000 cases. So it's a worst case scenario. When there's a worst case scenario, what will happen? The production will be only 35%. Okay, so how we are going to put this into a data, into a dashboard? Okay, so the first step is build a drop down list. Okay, so how you do is, maybe I'm going to write this down. You go to data ribbon. Okay, maybe I put this, maybe refer to data ribbon. Okay, that is the first step. The second step is data validation. Okay, the third step is a box will appear. Okay, and fourth step is you choose list. And the fifth step is, okay, the data will appear. All right. Okay, I'm writing down these notes. So if you want to jot down, you can jot down. You can actually screenshot as well. Okay, I'm going to put my cell over here. Okay, can you see this data ribbon? If you can see this data ribbon, please type number 1. Okay, can you see this data ribbon? Every Excel file, they'll have this data ribbon. Okay, can you see this data ribbon? Okay, so some of you are typing number 1. So now let me proceed to the second step. Okay, so under this data ribbon, there's a section called data tools. Okay, so can you refer the icon called data validation? Can you see this data validation? If you can see this data validation, please type number 2. Okay, some of you are typing number 2. Okay, data validation. Okay, so once I click this data validation, a box will appear. This kind of window will appear. Can you see this box window? If you can see, please type number 3. Okay, some of you are typing number 3. That's good. Okay, then in this section, if you can see, choose list. What does it mean? That means in this allowed section here, I'm going to choose list. Can you see the list here? If you can see list, please type number 4. Okay, some of you are typing number 4. I have to go slowly because, right? Okay, so list, and then the source here, you just have to select lah. Okay, the source here, you just select this, and then there you go. Okay, so now, again I repeat. Okay, so can you see this drop down list? If you can see, maybe you can type number 5, this drop down list. Okay, let me zoom so that I hope that you can see clearly. Okay, so if you remember, you go to data, then you click on the icon called data validation, and then a box will appear. You just choose list, and then you just select the performance. Okay, again I repeat, I just want to repeat again so that all of you are with me. First step is you go to data. Okay, next step is you go to data validation. After the data validation, you click the data validation, a box will appear. All right, and then in this allow list, you choose list. Okay, perkataan list. Bila kamu tekan list, the source will appear. Okay, the source here, you have to choose all the scenario, and then you click OK. Okay, so once you press OK, you will have your own drop down list. Okay, are you with me? If you are with me, please type yes. If you understand also, please type yes. Okay. Okay, so some of you are typing yes. So okay, so we are done with this part. I'll just put this as blue color. Okay, we're done with drop down list. We have already built a drop down list. Okay, the next step is VLOOKUP formula. Okay, V means vertical lookup. Vertical lookup means, okay, maybe I'll put a note here. VLOOKUP is actually vertical lookup. Okay, apa maksudnya? That means you are going to match a data from another table. Okay, so if you see here, we have worst case here, and we want to match with the production. So what we do is we use VLOOKUP. Okay, equal VLOOKUP. Okay, so can you see this lookup value, table array, column index? If you can see this, maybe you can type number 6. Lookup value, table array, column. In Excel, we call this as argument. Okay, all right. So lookup value. If you see the word here, lookup value, we put this figure because we want to find this value. Okay, this is our lookup value. All right. Okay. Next is, can you see the word here, table array? If you can see the word table array, maybe you can type number 7. Okay, table array. So table means we are talking about this table over here. Okay, so the worst case is from this table, right? Performance, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to highlight this table. Okay, we are going to highlight this table. Okay. Next is, can you see the column index number? If you can see column index number, please type number 8. Okay. What they mean by column index number? Okay, just now, if you remember, we highlight the table, right? Just now we did highlight the table. So in this table, there are 2 columns, column 1 and column 2. The first column and the second column. So if I put here, just say number 1. Okay, I put here number 1 and I put here 0. 0 means false. So I put here, it will show worst case. Okay, that means if just say I choose best case, it will appear as best case. Okay, so if just say if this number 1 here, I change to number 2, it will show the percentage. That means if just say I put here, yes, correct. So sometimes you need to press F4. Okay, the one I'll teach later to press F4 name. Okay, thanks for highlighting. All right, so this table is I use F4. Okay, the one I'll cover later. All right. Okay, so VLOOKUP again, I repeat so that most of you understand. VLOOKUP. Okay, this is the lookup value, comma, and this is the table. Okay, we're going to highlight this table, F4. Okay, I'm going to lock this, and then column index means I'm going to refer to the second column. So second column, and then I can actually type 0 or I can actually type false. Okay, it's up to you. So you can actually type 0 and it appears as false. Okay, so now if you say I type normal case, you see the data changes accordingly. So if just say I type worst case, you see the data changes accordingly. Okay, so far at this juncture, do you understand? If you understand, maybe you can type yes. Don't worry, I'll repeat again. Okay, I see some of them typing repeat please. Okay, again, all right. Equal, okay, macam yes, it's not yes. Okay, so we look up. Okay, we look up value is we are highlighting this figure. Okay, table array. Table array means we are highlighting this entire table. All right, we are highlighting this entire table. Okay, and then column index number. So column index number, we only have column here, right? In this table that I have highlighted, the red color box, there is only, okay, good question. Later I'll explain this. Okay, so in this column index number, we do have 2 columns, right? So I'm going to put 2, then I'm going to put as 0, and then here. Okay, so just now, if I just change to accounting format, it becomes a, if I just click this, it becomes accounting format. But if just say I click on the percentage over here, it becomes a percentage format. Okay, did I answer your question, Mr. Wong? Okay, all right. So now to the other audience participants, are you with me? If you are with me, maybe you can type okay. Okay, I see some of you typing so far yes. All right. Okay, so now this is the data over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a dashboard, a data visualization. So I'm going to put here equal, okay, equal this number over here, okay, equal this number, equal 1 minus 35%. Okay, so that means if let's say I click here, it becomes worst case, you will see the numbers are being reflected accordingly. So if just say I click normal case, the numbers are created accordingly. Okay, so now I'm going to do the third step, which is construct a donut chart. Okay, just now we perform, we look up. So sekarang ni I'll focus on donut chart. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this. Okay, I'm going to go to insert. Can you see the insert ribbon? If you can see insert ribbon, maybe you can type number 1. Okay, after the insert ribbon, can you see the chart section? Okay, can you see this donut and pie chart? If you can see donut and pie chart, please type number 2. Okay, so can you see the donut over here? All right, so I'm going to click this and this thing will appear. All right, I know this is too big, but let me make it small. Okay, maybe this size. Okay, so this is the chart. I'm going to click on this arrow, this plus sign. Okay, this plus sign is called as chart element. So I'm going to click this. So when I click this, can you see not the legends? If you can see legends, chart title, maybe you can type number 3. Okay, so I'm going to untick this. Okay, so you have this information. I'm going to click this chart title. I'm going to click this chart title. So if you are with me, you can just click this. Can you see this formula bar? If you can see this formula bar, maybe you can type number 4. Okay, so you go to the formula bar, you press equal. Okay, you go to the formula bar, you press equal. And then you press here, you click on this thing, and then you press enter. Okay, in other words, what I'm going to repeat again. What you do is, first step is you click on the chart title. Okay, you click on the chart title, the formula bar, you press equal. Okay, once you press equal, you put your cursor over here, enter. Okay, so what we are going to do is, if let's say I click this, I want best case, it changes accordingly. If just say I want normal case, it changes accordingly. Okay, but this is not the magic is on the way. All right, so I'm going to click this again. I'm going to go to insert, illustration, shape. I'm going to use this box. Okay, and I'm going to put it over here. Okay, so this is the box, equal, okay, equal, and then 50%. Okay, so now if you notice, when just say I click best case, it becomes 85%. If just say I click worst case, it becomes 35%. Okay, it's being reflected accordingly. But the graph and the data, the dashboard is not so nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to shape format. I want to just say no fill, and then no fill, no outline. Okay, I go to home, I make it center, I make it center, I bold, and then I make it bigger. Okay, maybe this is too big. All right, so now this is our presentation. And then this one over here, I'm going to just change the color. this one as dark blue, and shape outline is no outline, and thing over here, no fill and dark blue. Okay, so now if just say I were to click best case, you notice that the presentation change accordingly. So just say you are working in a marketing firm or sales department, you want to show to your clients, your customers. So with just one click, you can make the presentation accordingly. Okay, so far, are you with me? If you are with me, please type number 5. Okay, I know this is quite difficult, but it's okay. At least you learn something. Okay, the most important thing is at least you know the flow. First step is you build a drop-down list, VLOOKUP, and donut chart. But don't worry, this is exercise 1A. We do have 1B as well. Okay, all right. So now let me go to the next exercise, which is 1B. Okay, so can you see this? Yes, correct. So basically to create a chart, you just create the data and then move to the title, correct? Okay, so one of the student asks how to link the title, the chart to the drop-down list. Very simple. Okay, you just click this. You just click on the title. You go to the formula bar. You click equal, and then you link to the drop-down list. Okay, we will do another example on this. Don't worry. Okay. All right. So I believe there's 2 questions, but in order to answer these questions, I'll do another example so that you are with me. But this time we will use XLOOKUP formula. Okay. Only thing you have to note is XLOOKUP is available in Excel 365. 365 only. So how to know if your Excel is 365 or 2016? First step is you go to file. Can you see your file over here? If you can see the file, maybe you can just press number 1, type number 1 in the chat box. Yes, you can also add data label as well. Okay, all right. So you go to file. Can you see account? If you can see account, maybe you can just type number 2. Okay. All right. So once you click account, can you see here Microsoft 365? Okay, you can also refer to your Excel. So sometimes you will have about 2016, 2019, or 2007. Okay, you just see from here. Okay, so if you're using Excel 365, you can use XLOOKUP. Okay, for those who don't have, never mind. We'll just repeat again. Okay, so that you can understand. All right. Okay. So now, if you remember earlier, what I told you is you build a drop-down list. Okay, so how to build a drop-down list? You put your cursor over here. Okay, you go to data. Can you see the data? If you can see data, please type number 3. Okay, so you click the data. Can you see the data tools? Can you see the icon over here, data validation? If you can see data validation, please type number 4. Okay, and then once you click the data validation, a box will appear. Can you see this box? If you can see this box, please type number 5. All right. So in this allow section, can you see the word, you click this, can you see the word here, list? If you can see the list, maybe you can type number 6. Okay. And then the source here, okay, depends. If your one is you have a list of departments or list of employees, you can click that. So in my one, I have only 3 performance: best case, normal case, worst case. So I'm going to highlight this. I just highlight this and I press OK. All right. So now I have a drop down list. So far, are you with me? If you're with me, maybe you type the alphabet A for Arsenal, A for Ayam, A for America. Okay, so now we have a drop down list. Okay, all right. So the next I'm going to do is XLOOKUP formula. If just say you don't have XLOOKUP formula, it's okay. All right. But if just say you have Excel 365, you can use, it's something new for you. Okay, so equal XLOOKUP. Okay, XLOOKUP. Can you see the lookup value over here? If you can see lookup value, maybe you can type number 7. Okay, so this is lookup value. You just click over here. So this is a lookup value. Okay, the normal case is actually from this array. The perkataan normal case is actually from here. So the lookup array means you just highlight this. The lookup array, you just highlight this. Okay, you can press F4. And then the return array is, you just highlight this. Okay, because we want the numbers. Okay, again I repeat, equal X lookup. Okay, lookup value is you highlight here. Okay, lookup array means you highlight this. Lookup array. Why we highlight this? Because the normal case is from this area, this array, comma. Return array means we highlight this. All right, and then why return array? Because we want to know the data. Okay, now this is in a counting format. Okay, how to move lookup array? You can actually just X lookup. You can just highlight this. That means you just highlight this information. Okay, and then return array, you just highlight this. All right. Next step is, okay, so once I press enter, yes, you can press comma, correct, thanks. Okay, so after this, okay, 0.5, what you do is you go to home and you change to percentage. Can you see the percentage style? Maybe you can type number 8 if you can see this. Okay, all right, so this will be automatically in a percentage. All right, so what you need to do is like what you remember, if I teach you earlier, I put here equal 50%, I put here equal 1 minus 50. All right, so I do have some workings over here. I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to highlight this. I go to insert. I go to the charts. Okay, over here there's a thing called donut chart. Okay, so this is the donut chart. I'm going to make it smaller for our session. Okay, I'm going to make it small. All right, and then over here I just remove the label. Let me move this. I'm going to remove the legend. Okay, it's up to you. You want to make it bigger or smaller, it's up to you. Okay, let me make it this thing. All right. Okay, so this is a title. So some of you ask me, how am I supposed to link this to the information? So what I do is I click this. The first step is I click this and then I press equal and then I go to normal case. I press enter. Okay, are you with me? If I answered your question, maybe you can type yes. That means what I do is I click this, I press equal, and then I link this, and then I press enter. Okay, so the next step is I go to insert, I go to illustration, I go to shades. You can actually choose this text box also can. Okay, so I'm going to choose this. I'm going to put a box over here, equal, okay, equal, and I link to this 50%, and then enter. All right, okay, 50%, and then maybe I'm going to update the cosmetic. Just want to improvise it. Okay, maybe I put this as no fill, and then maybe no outline as well. Okay, and then this one I put it as middle. Okay, there you go. All right, so maybe I'm going to change this, the format, dark blue, no outline. This one, no fill, and dark blue. Okay, so now if just say I want to know the performance of best case, I click this, I can know immediately. I click this, I know immediately. Okay, so this is how, this is the first step. Using a drop down list and some formulas, you can actually create a simple dashboard. Okay, so this is just exercise 5. I know sometimes a bit difficult, but as we move on to exercise 3, from exercise 3 will be interesting. Okay, so are you with me? If you are with me, maybe you can type number 1. Okay, all right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just delete this, remove this. Okay, okay, all right, so can you see this example number 2 or exercise number 2? If you can see, maybe you can type number 2. Okay, all right, so if you look on the right hand side, I have actually prepared a notes on drop down list, dget formula, column chart. Okay, all right, so if just say you want to write down, you can actually jot this down. Okay, okay, sure. When setting the formula, I'll go slowly. All right, okay, so what I'm going to do is, like, if you remember, number 1 is we are going to build a drop down list. Okay, again I repeat, first is you go to data ribbon. All right, second step is you go to data validation. Okay. Third step is a box will appear. Okay. And the fourth step is you choose list. The fifth step is you select your relevant data. Okay, any data. If you have a employee's name, you select the employee's name. If you have department, you select department. Okay, all right. Then six is you will have the drop down list. Okay, so now I'm going to put my cursor over here. Okay, maybe I just put this as a yellow color so that you can see this. I'm going to put my cursor over here. Step number one, can you see data ribbon? If you can see data ribbon, please type number one. Okay, good. All right, so now above these data tools, you have an icon called data validation. So if you can see data validation, please type number two. Okay, all right, so you click on data validation. Okay, so once you click the data validation, if you you notice I got right here, a box will appear. Can you see this box? If you can see this box, please type number three. Okay, so now in this allow section, choose list. Can you see the word here list? If you can see list, please type number four. All right. Okay, so the list over here. And then if you remember, I told you to select the data. So in this presentation, I'm going to select the football clubs. So I'm going to highlight all this information. And then I press OK. So now I do have my own data. Okay. All right. So again, I repeat. Wait, I'm going to just cut this, paste it over here. So step number one is go to data. Step number two is go to data for validation. Step number three is a box will appear. Step number four is you select the list. Source, you highlight the information. So you highlight this. And then you press enter. Okay. Are you with me? Do you understand? Maybe you can type yes if you understand. Okay. So I see some of you are typing yes. So what I'll do is I'll just highlight this. Okay. So this part I dark cover. Okay, I put this as blue color font, blue color. Okay, build a drop down list, settle. So next is dget formula. Okay, so in dget formula, there are three arguments. Maybe I'll just write here, three arguments. Okay, number one is database. Number two is dia punya criteria. Okay, so for example, now I press equal, I put dget. Okay, can you see the dget? Maybe you can type number four if you can see this dget. Okay, so when I click this dget, can you see these arguments? There are actually three arguments. Okay, maybe you can type number six if you can see the arguments. Database, field, criteria. Okay, database, field, criteria. Okay, let me jot it down for you so that you can see. Number two is field. Number three is criteria. Okay, if you want to jot down, you can jot down. Database means you highlight the table. Field means you highlight the column. Criteria, you highlight the top left. That means your row section. Okay, you want to jot down, you can jot down. You want the screenshot also can. Okay, all right, ignore my spelling. I just, okay. All right, so first is equal dget. Okay, can you see the database? If you can see database, maybe you can type number one, database. Okay, so if you see here database, if you see here, highlight the table. Okay, highlight the table. So what you're going to do is this database, you're going to highlight this table. Okay, highlight this table. I'm going to press F4 and you lock. Okay, so are you with me? If you are with me, maybe you can type number two. Okay, so I see some of you are typing two. So now next step is I press comma. Okay, I press comma. Okay, then only I'll go to field section. Okay, so the field means highlight the column. So this is the column, right? 2017. Okay, this is the column, so I highlight this. Okay, and then criteria is on your top left, can you see this information? Can you see this info? This is your top left, the row section. Okay, maybe I'll go slowly. Okay, now can you see the word year field? If you can see the word year field, maybe you can type number 3. Okay, field means you highlight column. Column yang mana? This column. Okay, you highlight this column. All right, are you okay? If you are okay, that means you can just type okay. If you're with me, if you understand, you can catch up, just type okay. Okay, and then the next step is you press comma. Okay, you press comma, and then this criteria here, you highlight all this. Okay, you highlight all this. This is your criteria. Okay, so then I'm just enter this. So now you have 76. So 76 and 76. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to press this, Control R. So you have this. So now if let's say I want maybe Chelsea. Okay, so tomorrow Chelsea will be playing. So Chelsea is 38, this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Alt F1. Okay, or you can actually use this. You can actually click this. You go to insert. You can actually click this. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm highlighting this and I just press F1. You have the information over here. Okay, so it's up to you. You can use the alternate F1 function, or you can go to insert and just click this. Okay, all right. So now if you notice, this is our information. But the information over here is 1, 2, 3, right? So I'm going to click the chart. I'm going to select the chart. Okay, so can you see here chart design? If you can see chart design, please type number 4. Okay, so some of you are typing for number 4. That's good. So can you see the word here select data? All right, yes, 2018, 2019, I press Control R. So one of the student asks, okay, maybe I'll just repeat again. Okay, so now if they say I remove this, okay, I highlight this, okay, I highlight this information, I just press Control R. Okay, so did I answer your question? Maybe you can just type yes if I did answer your question. All right, good. Okay, so next step is you highlight this. You can use your mouse, insert, and then you want to create this line chart pun boleh, or this column chart pun boleh. Okay, it's up to you. Okay, but if you notice, the chart is 1, 2, 3, right? So you just click on select data. Okay, select data. Okay, so now can you see the box over here? If you can see the box, maybe you can type number 5. Okay, number 5. Okay, that's good. So can you see edit 1, 2, 3? If you can see edit 1, 2, 3, the horizontal axis label, maybe you can type number 6, horizontal axis label. Okay, so you click on the axis and then you highlight this and then you press OK. All right, and then you press OK. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plus this sign, click on this sign, this plus sign, chart element. And then what I'm going to do is I want to remove the legends. Okay, remove the grid lines. There's no legend. Okay, remove the legend. No grid line. Data label. Okay, this item over here, I just delete. Okay, so now if this information over here, I just can go over here. I choose on the arrow. And then if just say I want Manchester City, you notice that the performance is inconsistent. So if just say I choose Liverpool, so you notice that the performance is increasing. Okay, so are you with me? Do you understand? Okay, or do you want me to repeat again? If you want me to repeat, maybe you can type number 7. If you understand, maybe you can type number 8. Okay, so you want me to repeat? Okay, it's good. All right, so what I'm going to do is, okay, repeat field. Very good. Okay, never mind. So you go to equal dget, okay, database. Database means you highlight all this. All right, the table. Field. The word field means refers to the column. So you highlight the column. All right, and then criteria means you highlight this thing, this top left. That means this name and the Liverpool. Okay, why name as well? Because name is the top left and the data also is over here. All right, and then F4 and close. Okay. Okay, setakat ni faham ke? Jelas ke? If jelas, faham, you can just type yes. Okay. Control R means copyright. Okay. Someone asks what is Control R. Control R means copy right. That means R for right. Copy on the right hand side. Okay, did I answer your question, Mr. Wong? Okay, so I will just highlight this and then I go to insert. I just create this chart. Okay, so now you have this chart. Okay, so can you see the select data over here? Okay, I click on the select data and then I go to the edit. I'll just highlight until the year. Okay, so you have this. Okay, so now if just say I want to choose Manchester United, you see that the performance is improving. Okay, so if just say I want to know about Liverpool, you know the performance is improving. But of course, the chart, it depends on your creativity. So like in my case, normally I will just remove this garisan putih. All the lines I remove. How I remove this? I go to the plus sign. I just untick the grid line and I click on the data label. And then this thing I'll just remove so that I will have more space. Okay, are you with me? If you are with me, maybe you can type yes. Okay, so this is from a DGET formula. Okay, all right. So before I proceed with exercise number 3, I just want to know, do you learn something? If you learn something, maybe you can type alphabet A. Okay, that's good. I see most of you are typing, right? Because you made a sacrifice. Instead of going to cinema and watching Black Adam, but you attended this Utah's Microsoft Excel dashboard. Okay, okay, yeah, there's many things to catch. All right, so no worries. This is a recorded session, so you can actually refer to the recorded video, which will be uploaded. Okay, so the subsequent thing is exercise number 3. Okay, this is from this part onwards, it will be easier. Okay, from this part onwards, you don't have to use any formula. You just have to use your mouse, and with few snaps, you can get your data. Okay, all right. So now, if you see here, this is the notes. Okay, to highlight the table, can you see the highlight the table? Maybe if you can see, maybe you can type number 1. If you can see this sentence, highlight the table. Okay, so to highlight the table, some of the students or participants, they will use their mouse and highlight like this. Okay, you can actually do this, but if just say you want to work smart, you can actually use Control Shift Spacebar or Control A. Okay, so if just say you are with your laptop right now, you can see your Control button, your Shift button, and your Spacebar. Okay, so if just say I put my cursor over here, Control Shift Spacebar, I'm highlighting the entire table. Okay, if this just say you feel that this is too many information, you can actually use Control A. With just Control A, you can highlight the entire table. Okay, do you understand? If you understand, maybe you can type okay. Okay, so you just say you want to highlight the table, you just put Control A. There you go. All right. Okay, the next step is pivot table. So how to create pivot table? Yes, correct. So one student asks, okay, you just put here, you put your cursor over here, Control A. Okay, what if I want to copy particular stuff from the table? Okay, if they say segment and RM only, okay, you just have to highlight these two only. That means you don't have to press Control A, you don't have to press, yes, Control Shift arrow. Thanks, Mr. Ho. All right, okay, so now I'm going to go to pivot table. Okay, so pivot table is, the first step is refer to insert ribbon. That's number 1. Number 2 is you just click pivot table and then from table, and then you just enter. Okay, you just press enter pun dah cukup dah. Okay, all right, so now I'm going to highlight this. Okay, can you see the insert ribbon? In Excel we call this as ribbon. Okay, home ribbon, insert ribbon, page layout. So there's a ribbon called insert ribbon. Okay, all right, so insert ribbon. So insert ribbon is over here. So can you see this insert ribbon? Maybe you can type number 1 if you can see this insert ribbon. Okay, all right, so the next step is, can you see this pivot table? If you can see this pivot table, please type number 2. Okay, so once you click this pivot table, okay, a box will appear. All right, this table. So you just have to press enter. Okay, you just have to press enter, or you press OK. All right. Okay, wait. Again, I repeat. Number 2, what I'll do is I'll just put a box will appear. And number 5 is you will be navigated to new tab or sheet. Okay. So step number 1 is insert. Step number 1 is insert. Step number 2 is pivot table. Okay. Step number 3 is once you click this pivot table. Okay. Not here. Sorry. Step number 1, you go to insert. Step number 2 is pivot table. Okay, step number 3 is a box will appear. Can you see this box? If you can see this box, maybe you can just type number 3. Okay, and then after that, number 4 is you just press enter. So once you press enter, you will be navigated to a new tab. That means once you press enter, you will be navigated to a new sheet. Okay, can you see this new sheet? Maybe you can type number 5 if you can see this. Okay, so once you enter the new sheet, on your right hand side, you will see that there's a pivot table field. Okay, pivot table field. That means the filters, column, row, values. Can you see this? If you can see this, please type number 6. Okay, that's good. So what you need to do is, okay, if just say I want to put a segment, okay, segment I put on the row. So you have the segment over here. And then just say here I put on the filter. So you have the data over here. And then RM I put on the values. Okay, I put it over here. All right. All right. So the next thing is what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this. Okay, right click. Okay, format cells. After format cells, I'm going to put this as accounting format. Can you see the accounting format? Maybe you can type number 7 if you can see this. Okay, none, and then remove this. Okay, so now it will be in an accounting format. So you can just right click, format cells. Okay, all right. So now if just say I want 2017 or 2018. So I have the performance for 2018. So now you just say I want 2020. It's over here. Okay, all right. So now if you remember, the next step is pivot chart. Can you see the pivot chart over here? If you can see pivot chart, maybe you can type number 8. Okay, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the pivot chart. Okay, and I'm going to press it OK. So now you have this information over here. All right, so different people have different style. So my style is I'll just press on the plus sign or the chart elements. I'm going to remove the legend, the grid line. I put the data label. Okay, this is my style. And then I'll just remove this. And I'll just right click this, right click, hide all fields on all field button on the chart. I right click, hide all field button on the chart. So now we have more space. And then the chart over here, the chart title, I click this, equal 2020, enter. Okay, so this is your pivot chart. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this, go to pivot chart, insert slicer. Can you see the slicer? Maybe you can type number 9 if you can see the slicer. Okay, so I'm going to click the slicer and I'm going to choose here. I'm going to choose here. I'm going to press OK. Okay, so this is actually your slicer. So now if just say I put 2018, you see the performance of 2018. If just say I click 2019, you see the performance of 2019. If just say I click 2020, you see the performance of 2020. Okay, are you with me? If you are with me, maybe you can tap number 1. Don't worry, I'll repeat again. Okay, so basically this is another sample of dashboard. That means we are using a pivot table to create this. Okay, so I'll go to exercise 4. Don't worry, exercise 4 is also the same thing. Okay, we do have the period, the months, we do have the clubs, and we do have the ringgit. Okay, it's the same thing, same example only. If just say you miss exercise 3, never mind, I'll proceed with exercise 4. Okay, so if you see over here, we do have first step is highlight the table. So highlight the table, you can actually use Control Shift Space Bar, or you can use Control A. Okay, Control A. So once you click the cursor, you put your cursor over here and you press Control A, you will automatically highlight the table. All right. Control A means you highlight the table. So with this, at this juncture, do you understand? If you understand, please type yes. Okay, that's good. All right. So for pivot table, what you can do is, I'll put here a note. Step number 1 is refer to insert ribbon. Okay, so that is step number 1. Click pivot table. Step number 3 is a box will appear. Step number 4 is you have to press enter. Just press enter or just click OK. Number 5 is you will be navigated to a new tab. Okay. All right. So you go to insert. That means you click highlight all these, highlight the table. You go to insert. Can you see the pivot table? If you can see pivot table, maybe you can type number 2. Okay. Click on the pivot table. Okay. So once I click pivot table, can you see a box? If you can see the box, please type number 3. Okay. And then you just press enter. You can actually use enter or you can just click OK. It's up to you. So you click OK, you will be navigated to a new tab. That means I click OK, you will be navigated to sheet 3. Let me adjust this. You will be navigated to sheet 3. Okay. Pivot table means on the right hand side, you will have the pivot table field. It up to you. You want to put at the column also can. You just drag this to column. All the football clubs will appear in column. If you want to put in row, all the football clubs will be in the row. Okay, it's up to you. All right. And then the month, you can just choose. You can put on the filter and RM, you put it over here. Okay, so this is actually a pivot table. Okay. All right. So if you notice the numbers here, it's hard to interpret. It's hard to read. So I'm going to highlight all these. Okay. I'm going to press right click. So when I press right click, can you see format cells? Maybe you can type number 4 if you can see format cells. Okay. So once I click format cells, can you see this box over here? Maybe you can type number 5. You can see this. Okay. Accounting, none. And then I just put this as 0 decimal places. No this thing. All right. And then press OK. So now you have accounting format. So now you can interpret. You know that is 88,000. All right. So you can actually create a pivot chart. And then you can put a column over here. Okay. So you can actually put this. Right click, hide all fields. Okay, so you can remove this and then you can actually click here, plus, remove legend, remove grid lines, and then you put data label. Okay, and then you just click this, delete. So now you have this information over here. Okay, and then the total I'm going to put here equal over here. All right, so of course this is not a proper presentation. Next step is you click on the chart, you go to pivot table analyze and you click on slicer. Okay, so can you see the month over here? If you can see month, maybe you can type number 6. Okay, you click on the month and then you press OK. So now you have the months. Okay, so if I want January, so you notice that January there are only 4 different clubs that make money. Okay, from 4 of them from England. So if just say I click August, you notice that only Barcelona is making money. And if just say I click on May, you will know that only 2 clubs is making the money. Okay, so far do you learn something new? If you learn something new, maybe you can type number 7. I know there's a lot to catch up. There's a lot of things that you need to write down, and maybe I'm going too fast, but it's okay. The most important thing is you are learning. All right. Okay, so yeah. Okay, can see the data, but why only? Because why only show few data? Because when I click January, it shows these 4 clubs. If just say I click March, it will show the selected clubs only. Okay. All right. Did I answer your question, Mr. Wong? And then there's another question. That means yes, correct. Okay. On this question, I'll go to the next exercise. The next exercise will answer this question. Okay. Yes, sure. I can show the raw data. Okay, if you can see here, this is the raw data. Just now, if you remember, this is our raw data. Can you see this? Maybe you can just type yes, if you can see the raw data. Okay, so this is actually our raw data. So what we did is we prepare a dashboard from this raw data. Okay, did I answer your question? Maybe you can type yes if I answer your question. Yes, correct. So not all are available in the, not all the clubs are available in every month. All right. Okay. Okay. So I have exercise number 5, exercise number 6 as well. But to make things to as a beginner, you can actually use exercise number. I mean, this will be a good example as well. Yes. So there are yeah, correct. So of course in pivot table, because why there is a, okay, there is a question from our participant. He asked the value is a sum, which is correct. It is the sum, but there is less data. Why less data? Because if you look here, we have about, if I highlight all this, we have about 171 lists. Can you see this, Mr. Ki Hong? Okay, right. So there's a lot of lists here. So what I did is when you use pivot table, it will summarize the list. Okay, all right. Okay, so now I'll go to exercise number 5. Okay, this is quite comprehensive one. We do have the city, we do have the football club, the revenue items, okay, forecasted revenue, actual revenue, and the operating expenses item. Okay, maybe I'll put here expenses, and then we have the forecast and the actual. Okay, so if you remember just now, the first step is highlight the table. So what you do is you highlight the table. The second step is you go to insert and you create pivot table. Okay, you create pivot table, and then what you do is you press enter, and then you'll have a pivot table. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a dashboard. All right, so what you can do is you can just put the football club over here. So you have the football clubs, and then you can put the revenue items maybe over here. It's up to you. Okay, or you want to put the revenue items over here, so can. Okay, so you have the revenue items. Football clubs you want to put here, so can. So your football clubs and your revenue items. This will be your actual revenue and your forecasted revenue. Okay, your filter column. So this is how it is. All right. Okay. Right click. Okay. Format sales. All right. Go to accounting. Put none, and then remove the decimal places. All right. So this is the information. This is the summarized version. So far, are you with me? If you are with me, please type number 1. Okay. All right. So this is the information over here. And of course, you know what? You also can copy the pivot table. You Control C, and then you can actually paste it over here. Okay. So now in this item over here, we have revenue. What I'm going to do is I'm going to untick the revenue, untick the forecast, untick the actual. Okay. So here we have revenue. So now I'm going to put expenses over here. So now you have the expenses, and then after that you can actually put the actual over here, the forecast over here. Okay, so over here you have the expenses, on the right hand side you have the revenue. Okay, again I repeat, maybe I'm going too fast. Okay, so first thing is like what I told you, you highlight the table. Okay, you highlight the table, you go to insert, you click pivot table, and then you press OK. You will be navigated to a new tab. Okay, so if you are with me, maybe you can type number 2. Okay, all right. So next step is what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the football club in the filter section. I'm going to put the revenue on the row, the actual and the forecast. I'm going to put it over here. I can drag it down. So this is number 1. The second step is I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it over here. Okay, so I'm going to maybe on this column over here. Okay, I want to remove the revenue. I want to remove the forecast. I want to remove the actual revenue. I want to click the expenses over here in the row section, forecasted OPEX over here, and actual OPEX over here. Okay, so now you have revenue and OPEX. Okay, are you with me? If you are with me, maybe you can type number 3. Okay, all right. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a dashboard. Okay, so I'm going to create a new tab. Okay, so this tab, I'm going to name it as maybe financial performance. Okay, wait, let me put this like this. Okay, merge. Okay, and then I'm going to put this over here. Maybe I put it over here. Okay. All right, so this title, maybe I put in column D. Okay. All right, so I'm going to copy this and I want to paste it as values. Okay. So I'm going to use if formula. If this is all, then will be overall football club. Okay. So if let's say I click Chelsea, okay, it appears false. Okay, so I'll just put here comma Chelsea. Okay, so if just say I click the Arsenal, it becomes Arsenal. Okay, if just you can have this recording from the committee as well. All right, so if just say I click just say all, it will show the entire football club. Okay, all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show some magic. All right, so if you see over here, we do have a title, right? So I'm going to put this, maybe this title over here, equal under here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is equal financial performance of, and okay, maybe I'm just going to put space and over here. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to pivot table, analyze, insert slicer, create football club, press OK. Okay, so I'm going to cut this and I'm going to put it over here. Okay, so now if say I click Arsenal, it will only show the financial performance of Arsenal. Okay, that means let me put it at the center, make it bigger. Okay, so if just say I want Liverpool, financial performance of Liverpool. So if just say I untick this, financial performance of overall football clubs in England. Okay, overall football club. It depends on you. You want to write it down in full sentences, okay? So if just say I click specifically, it shows specifically. Okay, are you with me? If you are with me, maybe you can type number 4. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to sheet 5 here. I'm put my cursor over here, pivot table analyze, pivot chart, and this type item over here. So I have this information. I just right click, hide all field, and then after that I just click the plus sign, data labels, remove the grid lines, and there you go. Okay, and maybe I put a title. So the title, maybe I name it as, okay, maybe I'll name this as revenue. Okay, so I'll put here revenue. Okay, I'm going to control X and I'll paste it over here. Okay, so there you go. So now if just say I click Arsenal, it shows the financial performance of Arsenal. So if just say I choose Everton, so it shows the financial performance of Everton. Okay, so setakat ni faham ke, jelas ke? If jelas or you understand, maybe you can just type okay. Okay, so if you click, it will change accordingly. All right, so now all right, Naman, it's okay. So Naman, I'll show another example as well. So now if you have this, you have another items as well. You have the marketing. Okay, so you go to pivot table analyze, you create a chart. Okay, and then you press OK. All right, so now you have this chart. Right click this, hide all fields. Okay, and then after that you just plus this sign, remove the grid line. Okay, and add data labels. All right, so maybe you just remove this. Okay, make it a bit bigger, then you control X, you put it over here. Yes, financial performance with the football club. That means if I just say I click this, so it will change automatically. All right. So if you notice over here, when I click this graph doesn't change. Okay. When I click this graph doesn't change. So how to do it? You just press right click. Okay. You just press right click. Can you see report connection? If you can see report connection, maybe you can just type number 5. Okay. So once you press report connection, okay, so you just have to take the another table. Okay, and then you press okay. So now you notice your graph will change accordingly. All right. So if you just say I press Manchester City, okay, you will have your graph accordingly. If you just say I press Chelsea, you have your graph accordingly. Okay, although this is not a proper presentation, but at least you understand something. You know the basics. Okay, you know how to create the dashboard and so on. All right. So you can actually use, you just with one click, you can understand the performance. Okay. So are you with me? If you are with me, maybe you can type number 6. Okay. All right. So I do notice that some of you are blurred, some of you don't really understand. It's okay. Never mind. Okay. Maybe I'll try to go slowly so that you can actually catch up. All right. All right. So to go slowly, maybe I'll use this example, okay, as one of the last example. Then we proceed to the Q&A. All right. Okay. So now I'm going to cover on Power Query. Okay. Power Query is considered an advanced Excel, but don't worry. We will learn slowly. We'll go slowly. All right. So what you need to do is the first step is you highlight the table. Okay. The first step is highlight the table. All right. The second step is you refer to data ribbon. Okay, can you see this data ribbon? Maybe you can type number 2 if you can see the data ribbon. Okay, so once you go to data ribbon, okay, can you see the word here, get and transform data? If you can see get and transform data, please type number 3. Get and transform data. Okay, and then after that, you go to this icon over here, from table/range. What you need to do is you click the icon. Okay, so can you click the icon? Maybe you just type number 4 if you can see this icon over here. Okay, so once you click this icon, okay, can you see this box over here? Maybe you can type number 4 if you can see this box. Okay, that means a box will appear. So you just click OK. All right. So once you click OK, you will be navigated to Power Query. So once I press OK, okay, then I click OK over here. You akan dipindahkan. Kamu akan dipindahkan kepada Power Query. Alright, so this is a Power Query editor. Can you see this Power Query editor? Maybe you can type number 5 if you can see the Power Query editor. Okay, this is maybe too new for you, but it's okay. At least you are learning something. Alright, Power Query editor. Okay, so we do have the years in the column 2018, 2019, and then 2020 and 2021. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to press shift button. In your keyboard, there's a shift button. I'm going to press the shift button and highlight this. Okay. And then I go to transform. Can you see the transform? If you can see transform, maybe you can type number 6. Okay. So once you go to transform, can you see here the section called unpivot column? Okay. So once you go to unpivot column, you click on this unpivot column, you will notice that all the years will appear in one column. Okay, did you see the changes? If you see the changes, maybe you can type yes. Okay, sure, I can repeat again. All right, so on your right hand side, there's the steps. So what you can do is you can just click on this X. So now you notice that you have 2018 in the column, 2019 on the column, 2020, and also 2021. So what you need to do is you click on this column, highlight until here, okay, highlight until here, and then you go to transform and you go to unpivot column. Okay, so once you go to unpivot column, all your column will appear in one column. Okay, are you with me? If you are with me, please type number 7. And then if you notice the changes, maybe you can type number 8. Okay, just now there's columns, but now it appears in one column only. Okay, if you notice the changes, that means initially all in one column. But now when I just press unpivot column, that means I highlight this and then I go to unpivot column, you will notice all these appear in one column. So do you notice the changes? If you notice the changes, maybe you can type number 8. That means all these are appear in one column. Because before previous, yes, some of you are typing, that means you are with me. Okay, it's good. So now what you can do is you go to home, you can go to close and load to. Okay, so all this now, this is your data. Now your new data will be in this format. Okay, if you look at our example, our raw data, this is actually our raw data. Okay, our raw data, we have the column from 2018 up to 2021, but over here it's all in one column. Okay, all right. So from here you can also create a dashboard. How? You go to insert, you go to pivot table. Okay, a box will appear, right? A box will appear. You just press OK. And then what you need to do is, if just say you want to highlight, okay, maybe you put the football clubs, you put it over here, and then maybe with football clubs, and then you put your value over here, and then you can actually put your attribute over here. Okay, next you go to pivot chart, and then what you need to do is you go to pivot chart, you press OK. So now this is your performance, this is your data. All right, so you right click this, hide all field. Okay, and then you press on the plus sign, and then what you need to do is, like in my case, I will normally remove the legend and I'll remove the grid lines, and I put the data labels. So now this is the performance. Okay, this is the performance. I click the chart, I go to pivot chart, I click on the slicer. Okay, I choose the year and also I choose the revenue items. So now you do have two different information. Okay, you have two different information over here. Let me press this sign over here. Wait, just close this. Okay, so now if just say I choose broadcasting rights, so over the past 4 years you notice that this is the performance of the clubs. And then maybe I can just change this to an accounting format, format cells, go to accounting, none, and over here. Okay, so if just say I click sponsorship, you know the performance for sponsorship. If just say I click on 2019, you know the performance for 2019. Okay, all right, so are you with me? If you're with me, maybe you can just type yes. Okay, so I think because we do have limited time, yes, correct. So if just say format cells, okay, now one of the student, they asked me that if just say I change at the format cell, if just say I put Malaysia Ringgit, RM, okay, you will notice that over here will have RM. Okay, did I answer your question, Mr. Chua or Miss Chua? Okay, so you can actually, yes, can choose all as well. That means if just say I X this, okay, so let me change this. Okay, so if just say I remove the X, so you can select the all yes. Okay, so if just say you want specifically, so can. All right. Okay, I think we do have some limited time. So next, I will pass to the Q&A session. Okay, I'll proceed with the Q&A session. So I'll pass to Mr. Kingsley. So if there's any question, okay, if just say you have any questions, maybe you can actually ask. Maybe if you want me to repeat, you can actually type in the chat box as well.
Hi, thanks, Mr. Ellinglaswaran. Yeah, thanks for the presentation and the webinar today. Okay, any question from the floor, you can type in your questions in the chat box. or anything maybe you need to clarify with Mr. Ingeswaran, you can actually type in into the chat box as well.
All right, so there's a one question whereby the student asks, is it possible to automate this using VBA? It's possible. That means, okay, what is VBA? Of course, VBA means visual. Wait, let me click this. Okay, can you see this item over here? Maybe you can just type yes if you can see this. So VBA means Visual Basic Application, right? So with Visual Basic Application, you can actually automate your dashboard. All right. So for example, if the same, okay, I want to create the same, let me think. Okay, so I just want to remove this. Okay, so with what, how, maybe some of you will ask me, okay, how am I supposed to enable this developer? Okay, if you look in your Excel file, you will notice that some of you doesn't have your developer tab. Okay, so how to enable this developer tab is you go to file. Okay, all right, maybe let me write this down. You go to file. Okay, after you go to file, you go to options, and then after that a big box will appear. Okay, and then after a big box appear, you can actually customize your ribbon. Okay, so customize ribbon, so that means you go to file, you go to options. Okay, can you see this big box? If you can see this big box, maybe you can just type number 3. All right, okay, so big box, and then after that you customize the ribbon. So you just have to tick the developer tab. Okay, so once you tick the developer tab, you press OK, and then you can automate this dashboard. You can create the automation using this VBA. Okay, did I answer your question to the first person who asked me? It's possible to automate this using VBA. All right, so the second question is difference between VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, and DGET. Okay, so let me proceed with this. Okay, so we do have ample time, so we use this ample of time for Q&A session. All right, okay, so now I'll go to exercise 1. All right, so one of the students asked, what's the difference between VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, and DGET? Okay, so to answer this question, I'll go to a new tab. Okay, VLOOKUP is available in every Excel. If you are using Excel, just say 2016 or Excel 365, you can use VLOOKUP. So the next one is DGET. Okay, DGET is available in every Excel. Okay, so I put here available. Okay, so the second thing is when to use this. Okay, when to use this. When you look in exercise 1, we are highlighting based on the vertical column, right? Okay, we do have the data is presented on a vertical format. That means on the best case, normal case, worst case. Okay, are you with me? Okay, so this is when we use the vertical. XLOOKUP also same thing, whereby we match data from a vertical presentation. Okay, so I'm going to type this. We match data from data in vertical list. Okay, I'm going to press this. Okay. All right, so this is when to use it. For example, okay, for example, if let's say we have Arsenal and Liverpool, okay, and then maybe I just put here, maybe this one is first, they are maybe at probably number 8. Okay, so if you remember earlier, I taught you on drop down list. So I go to data, I go to data validation, I select the list, okay, and then I use the source, I highlight this. Okay, so in this case, you can actually use VLOOKUP and also XLOOKUP. So if say VLOOKUP means I just create this lookup value, table array, column index is number 2, 0, there you go. Okay, so this VLOOKUP, you can use this. Okay, VLOOKUP, you can do this. You can also use, wait, maybe I put here VLOOKUP. Okay, are you with me, Sabrina? Maybe you can just type yes if you are with me. Okay, XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP is very simple. Okay, so X lookup, okay, V lookup, you have 4 arguments. Okay, 4 arguments. 4 arguments maksudnya, now if you see here, there are 4 arguments, which is the lookup value, the table array. Okay, maybe if I just do again, let me do this. Okay, V lookup. If Sabrina notice, there are 4 items over here: the lookup value, the table array, the column index, and range lookup. So this is your lookup value. This is your table array. Your column index number, you choose number 2, and then 0. There you go. Okay, so this is how you do it. Okay, for VLOOKUP. Okay, for XLOOKUP pula, just say I copy this, and I paste it over here. Okay, all right. So for XLOOKUP equal XLOOKUP. If you see XLOOKUP, there are 3 arguments that you can use: your lookup value, your lookup array, and your return array. Okay, there are 2 arguments saja. So I'm going to press enter. So this one I write here 3 argument. Okay, so when you compare VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP is faster. Okay, XLOOKUP is faster because it's 3 argument, but the problem is it's only available in Excel 365 or the latest Excel. Okay, are you with me, Sabrina? Did I answer your question? Okay, so now we'll go to the final part. Okay, DGET. Okay, when to use DGET? Okay, when to use? That means, for example, here we have 2019. Okay, I put here as 2018. Okay, maybe I put this as 5th place. They got just say 4th place. Okay, DGET formula is useful when you have the rows and also the column. Okay, you can also use index match. You can use DGET. Okay, so now I'm going to talk on DGET. So for example, if you have, okay, the list over here, I'm going to copy this, paste it over here, and then I'm going to go to data validation. I'm going to select the list. Okay, the source over here. Okay, highlight all this. Okay, highlight all this, and then I press okay. So now you have the year as well. Okay, so DGET means equal DGET. Okay, DGET also got 3 argument: database, field, criteria. So like what I told you, database means is your entire table. Okay, entire table. And then after that, field means this is your field. Criteria, you just highlight these 2. Okay. Okay. So if let's say I put your name and I put your name. All right. So DGET. Okay. So database. And then the field, like what I told you, this is the field. Your criteria is this one. Okay. So it doesn't appear because maybe if just say I put number 5, 4, and 1, 8. Okay. So sometimes it will appear, but in this case it doesn't. So what I'm trying to say is, if just say you're going to match your row and column, you can use your DGET data. Okay, do you understand, Sabrina? Are you with me? Okay, all right. So the next question, is there any question?
Thanks for clarifying, Mr. Erin for the question from the floor. Actually, we still have few questions from online during their registration. Maybe yeah, we go with the question. The first question is there any suggested platform to learn related skills?
Okay, so platform, of course, platform means platform to create dashboard. Okay, if you remember my slide earlier, okay, I'll show this slide. So the platform that you can learn to create dashboard, okay, of course, platform means software. Okay, what software you can learn? You can use ClickSense, Power BI, Tableau, or Microsoft Excel. So where you can learn, you can actually join any courses available like from Udemy, or you can actually learn from myself. There's a lot of courses available online. You can learn from that. But which platform that you can learn is these thing items over here. Okay, ClickSense, Power BI, Tableau, Microsoft Excel. Okay.
Okay,
Right.
thanks for the question. So we thanks for the answer. So we go for the question number 2 from the floor. We must introduce ourselves during interviews, and the majority of us will list the ability to use Excel as one of our hard abilities. Can you tell me lah, tell us lah, what level of Excel ability the general firm expect from us in terms of our hard skills?
All right. So to answer the second question, whereby they want to know what level will you have? Okay, this is a very good question. All right. So now if they say you are an intern, you are applying for the internship position. So what you need to know is keyboard shortcut. Okay, what is keyboard shortcut means? Okay, I know. Okay, I know this is related to dashboard, but I'll try to cover on keyboard shortcut as well. Okay, wait. Let me go to keyboard shortcut. Just say I click here. Just give me a moment. Okay, I'll go here dash chapter 1. Okay, so it doesn't appear in mine, but okay, what is keyboard shortcut means? I believe everyone knows Control C and Control V. So try to figure out what is Control K or maybe Control H. Okay, and this is not only relevant to Microsoft Excel, you can actually use this in Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, and so on. Okay, so maybe I'll just show an example better so that you are with me. Okay, so let me open this. Okay, chapter 1. Right, there you go. Okay, so can you see this Microsoft Word? I know our session is more to Excel, but can you see this Microsoft Word? Maybe you can just type maybe number 1 if you can see this. Okay, so when you study in university, sometimes when you go to university, you use your assignment, your midterm, your even your thesis, right? Sometimes some thesis they want the spacing is 1.5. That means either 1.5 spacing, either 2.0 spacing, or 1.0. So instead of using your mouse, you can actually use Control 5 for 1.5 spacing, Control 2 for 2.0 spacing. Okay, again I repeat, Control 1 means 1.0, Control 2 means 2.0, Control 1 means Control 5 means 1.5. Okay, so to answer the question, if you are an intern, try to learn about keyboard shortcut. Try to know about the basic features. Okay, that is an intern, and also I can just put fresh graduate over here. Okay, now if they say you have about maybe about just say 2 years experience. Okay, 2 years experience, you should know what is VLOOKUP. Okay, if they say you're working in an audit firm, Ernst & Young, Deloitte, KPMG, or any firm, VLOOKUP you should know. Okay, engineers also use VLOOKUP, accountants also use VLOOKUP, even actuarial science also use VLOOKUP. Okay, and then of course VLOOKUP, and then pivot table. All right, this is for 2 years experience. Of course, conditional formatting. Okay, today I never cover conditional formatting. If you can see here, this is conditional formatting. Today I never cover because my focus today, our focus is dashboard. So that's why I never focus on conditional formatting. So this is another area as well. And then after that, if you have just say about 3 years plus. Okay, if just say you have 3 years plus, then you can actually try to create a dashboard. Okay, to simplify, to enhance your stakeholders understanding, a dashboard. And then you can actually use financial model. Okay, previously I got teach you financial model, and of course you can use Power Query, one of the example I used earlier for all this, and of course you have Macro and VBAs. Okay, so this is my answer for the question.
Thank you, Mr. Elengiswaran. All right, we have one more question. Yeah, do you personally organize small programming sharing, and where do you usually organize this lah?
All right, so of course I'm active in LinkedIn. Okay, so what you can do is you can go to LinkedIn and you can actually type my very long name. Okay, I have a very long name, so you can actually type this. So you just go here and you just maybe you can connect with me or you follow with me, it's up to you. So of course, to answer the question, every Thursday I do conduct free webinars, but mostly for fresh graduates and interns. Okay, basic things, not to say every Thursday, it depends. If I'm working in office, then it's sometimes it's hard for me, but if I'm working from home, then every Thursday night I'm free and I'll teach these webinars. And also sometimes I do collaborate with other universities. So next month I'll be teaching UiTM students on some related topic to Microsoft Excel as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the answers. Is there any questions from the floor that yeah, maybe we actually can clarify on this. Any
Okay.
question?
I think there's another question. Will there be a second session to continue the tree? Of course, we do have. It depends. If I were to collaborate again, then we can conduct the remaining session. Okay, because why I do stop here, because I want questions from the audience. Feel free to ask. If you want me to repeat, I can repeat it again for you. Okay, because I noticed that some of you don't really understand which part that I teach earlier. So you can actually, this next 30 minutes, you can ask me as much as possible. Okay, sure. One student, he asked me to show the example of XLOOKUP and VLOOKUP. Let me see. Okay, let me show you. Okay, can you, okay, Mr. Yanja, okay, you have direct message me. So this is the direct comparison of VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, and DGET formula. Okay, so to recap, this one to match data from both row and column. Okay, this one you also have three argument. Okay, if no questions, I'll just proceed with one of the exercises, but along the way you can keep asking me. All right. Okay, so there's one more interesting part that I would like to teach you is using the developer ribbon. Okay, if you remember just now I taught you on the developer ribbon. Okay, if just say you can see this developer ribbon, maybe you can type number 2. Okay, maybe you can type number 2 if you can see this developer ribbon. Okay, all right. So the recording you can actually ask Mr. Kingsley. So recording for this session. All right. So now I'm going to teach you on creating a dashboard from a developer. That means now if just say I create this list, I just use Great Britain pound sterling. You will notice that this data here, this dashboard here will change accordingly. If just say you are from Malaysia, you want to click Malaysia Ringgit, you notice that this information changes accordingly. So the question is how to create this presentation. Okay, this basic simple presentation. What you can do is the first step is, okay, now we have an information. This is in Great Britain pound sterling. This is for the year 2021. This is the income. This is the cost. This is the profit. Okay, so this is an example over here. Maybe let me remove this. Okay, let me just remove this. Cut this. Okay, so now you have the information over here. So this is in Great Britain pound sterling. For 2021, it is 4 million. The cost is 200,000. You have a profit of 4.2 million. All right. So what you can do is, all right, so you can actually put this item over here, copy this, paste it over here. Okay. And then the income, if they say it is Great Britain pound sterling, it becomes 4 million. But if they say Malaysia ringgit, it must be times with 5 ringgit. Okay. So how to do it is, the first step is VLOOKUP. Okay, let me show an example. I go to developer. Okay, can you see the insert form controls over here? If you can see form controls, maybe you can type number 3. Okay, maybe you can type number 3 if you can see form control. All right. Okay, so in the form, under the form control, there's a thing called combo box. So can you see combo box? Okay, so once you click combo box, you just highlight this. Okay, so this is a combo box. All right, you just press right click. So once you press right click, can you see format control? If you can see format control, maybe you can type number 4. Okay, so you click on the format control. Okay, and then you go to input range. So input range, I highlight this. Okay, the cell link, I put it somewhere here. Okay, the cell link, I put it here, and then I press OK. So now if you notice, I can use Great Britain pound sterling. I can create US dollar. I can create Malaysia ringgit. Okay, setakat kat sini ni, faham ke how to create a combo box? If you understand, maybe you can type yes. Okay, so what you do is you go to the developer, you go to insert, under the combo box, you highlight the combo box, and then once you highlight the combo box, you can actually select the list. Okay, all right. So now the next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create here equal VLOOKUP. Okay, VLOOKUP. Lookup value is over here. Okay, so all right, good question. Actually, it's up to you. You can actually use data validation also can. from the drop down list from the data validation, or you can also use from this combo box also can. Okay, all right. So I'll get back to that part, why we use what's the difference between data validation and combo box. Okay, all right. So now this is a table array. So I'm going to highlight this. Number 3, okay, number 3 false. Okay, so we look up and number 3, and of course false. Okay, so if let's say I choose US dollar, it's 1.3. If just say I choose Malaysia ringgit, it's 5.4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to times with this figure over here. Okay, I'm going to times this. So I have about 24 million. If just say I choose Great Britain pound, it becomes 4 million. So if just say I choose US dollar, it becomes 5 million. Okay, so again, we look up this figure over here. All right, and then this same table, F4, column number 3, 0, and there you go. Okay, so if just say I put Malaysia ringgit, it changes accordingly. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this. This is 23 million. Okay, so maybe I'm going to put this border. Okay, I'm going to click this border. I'm going to click this. This is for profit. Bold it. Okay, let's say we look up this item over here. Okay, F4, column number 3, 0. Okay, maybe I put column number 2. All right. So if they say it is Great Britain, US dollar, it will become US dollar. So if just say Great Britain, it will become Great Britain. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the camera function. Okay. So can you see the camera icon over here? If you can see camera icon, maybe you can type number 5. Okay. If you can see the camera icon, please type number 5. This camera icon over here. Okay, so what's the next step is, okay, how I enable this camera? Very simple. Okay, what you can do is you go to file. Okay, you go to options. Okay, step number 1 is you go to file. Step number 2 is you go to option. Step number 3 is a box will appear. Okay, step number 4. Okay, wait, let me adjust this. All right, so this one, so I just put this. Okay, a box will appear, and then you go to quick access toolbar. Okay, quick access toolbar. All right, so again, I repeat, number 1 is you go to file. Okay, so can you see options? If you can see option, maybe you can type number 2. So you just click on the options. So once you click options, okay, so can you see a box over here? If you can see the box over here, maybe you can type number 3. Okay, maybe you can type number 3 if you can see this box over here. All right, so once you see the box, can you see your quick access toolbar? Okay, can you see the quick access toolbar? So in the quick access toolbar over here, you can actually select all commands. Okay, okay, you have to select all commands, and then after that you press okay. Okay, you just all commands, and then what you can do is you can actually choose camera. Okay, so there's a lot of function over here. If you want to learn, you can actually visit here. So you go to all commands and you select camera. Okay, so the camera is over here. You click this camera, you add here, and then you press OK. So once you press OK, and then you have this camera function. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all this, and I'm going to click on the camera, and then I'm going to jot it over here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, so if this thing over here, so now this is a, you can actually magnify this. Okay, camera is like a CCTV. It will capture all the things. So now if just say I choose Malaysia ringgit, it shows the performance of Malaysia ringgit. If just say I choose Great Britain, I choose Great Britain. Okay.
Okay, thanks everyone. Thank you. Thank you for participating. Mr. Elingaswaran, is there anything else that you want to cover before we wrap up for this?
All right. I noticed there's one question. Maybe I'll just cover the last part, just last part only. Okay, one of the students, they asked me, maybe I'll just, okay, one of the students asked me why I never use a drop-down list. Okay, a drop-down list, if you remember, I go to data, I go to data validation, I go to list, and then I select this. That means I go to source and I select this. Okay, so you have this great weapon. So what's the difference between this combo box and also drop down list? Combo box is whereby you can actually make it bigger, you can actually make it bigger, you can actually make it smaller. Okay, so it's about the cosmetic size, and also you can move it around anywhere. Okay, so that's the difference between a combo box and also data what do you call it, data validation drop down list. Okay, did I answer your question? One of them asked me. All right, so if no questions, then I'll pass to the MC.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Elingaswaran, for the insightful webinar. So thanks everyone for participating today. Thank you, everyone.